one's for like in-flight, and then there's also like pre-flight. So weather, snowdowns, we checked that. Should be all good. Flight plan we don't need today. Aircraft status, there was when we checked the plane out, it told us what was wrong with it. Double checked if we don't need it for today's flight. Weight and balance considered, should be all good for today. Performance considered, all we're going to do is just some local flying, so anything that we need to look into that. Fuel requirements, we'll probably put full fuel even though we probably don't need it. So we'll do that last and we'll bring it over to refueling station over there. Time safe checklist. If you're physically fit to fly, you're not tired, not sick, run your hand over it, make sure none of them are popped out. If there is one popped out, most likely it's the autopilot because we don't really use that when you start your training. So if all those are in, those all look good. Electrical switches, we want to make sure that those are all off. So that's in here, except for the beacon, which will be on. And then avionics master, you want to make sure that is off, which that's the master switch, and avionics is off over here. And then we'll turn the battery master on both sides. There's like a left and a right side. If you want to take a peek in there, I turned on that red switch right there.
This is the master switch, this one.
Yeah, okay.
Master switch.
And then we'll go over and check the fuel quantity over here. So it'll show left and right tank, so it's just above half on both sides. So we'll refuel it, make sure it's full. Next we'll want to check the lights and the pitot heat. So I'll turn the pitot heat on. Nav lights we don't really need today, but we'll just make sure those are working. Beacon's already on, and turn on the landing light. And then we'll just kind of do a walk around and make sure all the lights are working. And then we'll wait for the pitot heat to go up. It takes a second. You're still there. It does get very hot, so like don't grab onto it, but if you like very lightly touch it, it should be warm to the touch, just in case we needed it. But everything seems to be working there. So we'll turn everything back off so we don't drain the battery. Alright, so should we check the lights, flaps? Forgot that one. So we'll turn that back on. And then watch your head, these are gonna come down. So we want to make sure on both sides that they're fully extending and one's not stuck, because we will need those for landing. Looks like they're working. Alright, now we can turn the battery master off. Cool. Alright. So everything should be off for the engine. So the key's not in the ignition. The mixer's idle, so there's no fuel going to it. So that's all good. Next, we want to check all the control surfaces. So same thing, making sure nothing's stuck or like not working. So you should just move it up and down. And if you check inside, the controls should also be moving. So that looks good there. Nothing's stuck. All the way down and all the way up. Control surfaces should be going like back and forth in there.
Yeah.
And then same thing on the other side. If you want to try it. So we did all of those. Rudder, you kind of have to go in the plane and like move the rudder pedals.
Go inside the front, go in the front. You have to press, yeah.
But as you kind of push them down, it should move.
It moves left and right
Yeah.
when you press left and right.
So that works. Aircraft underside, I mean, just check and see if anything's leaking, like under the wings and stuff. But everything looks fine. Make sure there's no flat tires. That. Usually I don't look at this till I'm like already in the plane, but you just want to make sure that that's all lined up. There's a little line that will line up with both of those.
See, that's how you pull the airplane to the gas station. And you have to do it by yourself.
You could also, I usually don't do this, but you could also start the plane
And just drive it up there.
But then you have to like do the whole run up, like start the engine, then start it off, fuel, and then turn it back on again. So it'll work out with this. So we'll open this one up. And then here's the grounding wire. You'll just connect it to like a metal piece on the plane. So I'm kind of out of breath. Just so there's no like static electricity or anything like that. And then unfortunately, you have to get up on a ladder.
What? You guys have a ladder? That'd be nice.
Some planes have like
The
a step.
stand, right?
Yeah, unfortunately this one does not. I don't know. I don't think that one does either. Either the step that's like built in on the plane, or you'll use a ladder.
I like the ladder.
But if you want to like,
Here,
hop
so you
up
can
here,
see where the
there's a fuel cap up here.
fuel cap.
It's red, and there's one on both sides. So you have to fill up both of them. I'll send you directions to it.
See all the steps?
Yeah.
So you put gas to your price checklist. So you did the same on both wings.
Watch your feet.
You need a new headset?
Yeah, the other one didn't fit.
Oh, because they have one plug? Yeah, you need, okay, that's fine. She can get the
Dual plug.
dual. Yeah. Easy, right? Ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it one more time. Make sure nothing changed. But that should be all good. Overpass 2,200 in Akron. And Wayne County, just southwest of us, is 1,700. So we're off. So that should be pulled on and then turn that back off. So that'll just mess with our airspeed and vertical speed indicator. Just in case we don't get readings from the outside, we have an alternate backup one just in case it were to fail. So that seems to be working, but we'll leave that off. Circuit breakers, we'll check one more time. This should be all in as you're running your hand over, so those all look good there. Master switch, or I guess avionics should be off. So that is all off there. Avionics should be off except for the beacon, that which is on, and then we'll turn on
You can reach the rudders and right on the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
cool. And then navigation panel lights, as required. It's not nighttime, so we won't turn those on. And then fuel selector should be on both, which it is. There's a left and a right, because you want to just get fuel from one side of the wing, but we want to have it from both, so it's equal on both sides. And then prime as required, and then lock. So usually we don't have to do that unless it's like very hot or very cold. It's right in the middle today. Carburetor heat should be verified off. So that is going to be right here. It's kind of hard to see, but it's like hidden under this panel. So on would be pulled out, but we want it off, so that is going to be in.
Okay.
Throttle is going to be open 1/8 of an inch, so all the way out is going to be none, and then just 1/8 of an inch in. Mixture, we're going to put it to rich, so all the way out where there's no fuel going to the engine is pulled all the way out. Full rich mixture where there's a lot of fuel going to the engine is going to be pushed all the way in, so you just push the button and push it in.
Okay.
Brakes you want to apply, so when we start the plane it doesn't lurch forward out of into somebody.
The brakes is on the top.
Yep. So on the bottom is just to control the rudders, but the top part is the brakes to actually stop the plane. So we'll apply those, and then we'll start the propeller. But before we start the propeller, we're going to yell as loud as we can, clear prop, to make sure everyone in the vicinity of us knows that we're about to start the plane, and so they don't walk in front of us.
Outside the window.
Yep, so I'm just going to close my door so it doesn't slam shut. But out that window, we're going to yell clear prop as loud as we can, and then we'll start the engine. Nice and forward. Clear prop! Sometimes it takes a few tries to get it started. So we'll see if this tries on the first try. Sometimes these old planes, it takes a couple tries. Try one more time. We'll give it a second. Just kind of put some fuel in there.
Yeah, engine's probably cold.
Yeah, I don't think it's run today. Just gonna give it a second. Breathing it good. One more time.
Good flight. Excellent flight.
Thank you. How'd you feel about flying and taxiing and all that?
I don't know. I was kind of tense during all of that.
How's your flight? Like it? See, that's flying. That's real flying. Haven't flown, but I remember. I remember everything now. It's coming back.
You remember it now?
Yes, I was looking at your airspeed. I thought you're doing an exercise of no flaps landing.
No, that was an accident. I
Uh,
was like, I feel
that's
like I'm forgetting
okay.
something. So
I remember those. I remember those exercises like with flaps and no flaps landing.
I have done.
I remember those days.
I just don't usually recommend it.
Exactly.
Usually that's a couple lessons down the road.
Yep.